Hey guys, Zach here, and today I want to take you guys with me and show you a 1 month update on the Ecosystem Bowl. Now, over this last month, all of the plants in this tank have really started to grow quite well. In the foreground, everything's starting to creep and start to carpet, and all of the stems in the back are starting to grow. They're even starting to hit the surface of the water, which means that it is due for a trim, and overall, I'm super happy with all the growth that I've seen in the last month in this tank. Over this past month, this tank has been very easy to take care of. I have done virtually zero maintenance on this tank. The only maintenance that I do regularly is just filling it up from evaporation. In this clip here, this is 2 weeks worth of evaporation that I'm filling up. I normally only let it go for about a week and then fill it up. But other than filling it up, that's all the maintenance I do. I've done no water changes and I haven't trimmed the plants at all yet, and I'm super happy with the growth in this tank. Even though I haven't done any water changes in this tank, you can see that it is still crystal clear. I did have a bit of time after originally setting it up that it was slightly foggy, but that was just a bacterial bloom and it cleared within a couple of days. With all that being said, this tank does need a trim now, so I'm going to start with the valve in the front. And I'm just going to trim it and remove it from the front of the tank. I'm going to let it grow more, but I don't want it to obscure my view into the tank, and I also don't want it to end up taking over the surface, which can block light from getting to the plants lower down in the foreground. Moving on, the next plant I want to trim is this nice bright red Rotala that is starting to creep into the foreground as well. Just like other stems, I'm actually able to replant these cuttings of Rotala back into the tank, which is going to give me a much thicker and denser look to the jungle of plants. It also means I need to cut off a little more than I'd actually want to with the Rotala so that I have a sizable portion to replant. While working with the trimmings, I noticed these little white runner roots on this piece of Rotala. Just make sure to remove these before you replant. This is going to encourage the plant to grow more upright instead of trying to grow out to the side. With that being said, I can now just replant the Rotala into the soil directly. While doing this maintenance, a piece of the hydrocotyl started to float in the foreground, so that's easy enough to just replant. Moving towards the back of the tank, you can see that the Bacopa is actually starting to break the surface, and I just want to trim this before I let it grow uncontrolled and just potentially get out of hand. When replanting the Bacopa, I just remove these bottom 2 leaves to give me a little bit more stem to work with that I can push further into the aqua soil. This will just allow the plant to focus more on producing roots than keeping those leaves going. One thing I do want to point out is that some of the Rotala in this tank has spiky leaves while some of it has round leaves. This is just because some of the Rotala that I planted was grown immersed and some of it was grown submerged. If it was grown immersed, it was exposed to the atmospheric CO2, which allowed it to have round leaves instead of spiky leaves, but now that it's in the water, all of the new growth has been these spiky leaves. I would also like to mention that on this tank, I have been keeping it fairly high lighting. It's got a timed light that it runs, and it's actually pretty close to a window that you can see behind it. This just allows the reds on these Rotalas to really pop, and you can get nice vibrant reds without adding CO2 to a tank. With such high lighting in this tank, it's only expected that a little bit of algae is going to start showing up, but I haven't had any issues with that because this additional algae has led to a boom in the population of shrimp, snails, and even some other microfauna, which are more than welcome in the tank. As these little guys go around munching on algae all throughout the tank, they do start to produce a little bit of waste. However, that waste does break down and sink into the substrate, becoming nutrients for the plants. And as long as I trim the plants and stay on top of their growth, this is going to be a pretty good ecosystem. Do keep in mind that because I'm not running a filter on this tank, a large portion of the filtration is actually done by the plants, so keeping these plants alive is very important for the ecosystem. That is everything for this video. In this last month, all that's really happened is this plant growth and the population boom of the inhabitants, but I'm still super excited to share with you guys and show you what's happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.